Oh, I think every time you come into fall camp, I mean, if you're a football coach, it's in your blood. And no matter where you're at, whether you're a head coach, a player, assistant coach, a fan, alum, my wife, everybody's excited about this time of year. And I'm very optimistic. You know, I mean, you've sat here and listened to our last two guys, and as sophomores, their enthusiasm and you can't wait for the season to get started. And our coaches are meeting right now, kind of getting things prepared as we're down here. And it's an exciting time for Black Hills State. You know, we're in a very tough conference. You got the defending national champion. You got some teams that have some great history and tradition, and you know we're in the process of making that move, getting into Division II, and finding our place, and knowing that this is a very talented and difficult conference to play in, and you got to play week in and week out. If you don't finish games, you're not going to win them, and so we're excited. You know, we lost 19 seniors, but we've got a great group of youth and a good group of 7 seniors coming back this year that are going to lead along with our young guys. And when you look at that, you know, we made some staff changes, and excited about Coach Kerr and Coach Eastburn coming in and the things that they added in spring ball. And then you got veteran coaches like Coach Petrino, who's just taken special teams and a lot of things, you know, took over some things that we missed when the other coaches left. And so very optimistic, excited, you know, all the cliche adjectives you can throw out there. Oh, I think just like any year, I mean, you want to continue, and I've heard them say it, you know, it's consistency. It's making sure and focus. You know, those are the big things, is understanding, you know, I feel like we have the talent level now. I mean, when we came in, it was difficult because, you know, we probably didn't have talent across the board and depth, and at this level it's depth, and you see that, and we lacked a little bit of that. And so it's taken a couple of years of recruiting and getting ourselves that D2 athlete. I feel like we have that now. I think we got a great group of freshmen coming in, true freshmen, some that I think have the ability to push the envelope and play and do some things. But it comes down to those veterans and those core guys, you know, being focused, making sure that we have that competition level all the time, and doing what we do to finish games. And you know, I know our guys are up to that test. Well, when you lose a guy like Ward, I mean, he's a 3-year starter. I mean, he had things that, you know, he knew kind of what the play was going to be called before it even got called, and you know, he added an intricacy that, you know, we didn't have 3 years ago when he came in, and obviously he took us to where we wanted to be. As far as how do you feel that? Competition. We've been talking about it, and I think when you look in spring ball, we had Zach Meyer and Ben Sabakin, a freshman and a sophomore. Zach actually played one game last year, started a game against Adams State, and threw for over 300 yards. You know, so I mean, he can do it. It's not just the guy that's pulling the trigger, it's also the guys that are around him, Fidel and the offensive line and those guys. But those guys had a great spring, really was excited, and you know, they even kind of exceeded my expectations a little bit of where they ended spring ball at. And then we have Ryan Hummel coming in as a true freshman, Melvin Bobo, also 2 young guys that I feel are going to compete for some playing time. And you know, we'll find out who's going to be that starter. But it's also the supporting cast. You know, and that's going to be huge, of those other guys not just relying just on that guy, but the guys that are around him. Oh, no doubt, and I think those guys did a great job in spring ball of kind of taking those younger quarterbacks under their wing. Now, those quarterbacks, they did some great job as far as being leaders and not showing that, you know, well, I'm a scared freshman or a sophomore. I mean, there's days where they look like they were inexperienced, but there's also days where they look like they'd started 10 games. And a lot of that, I think, goes back to their trust and their confidence in the guys around them. We got great leaders up front with Andrew Blaylock and Richard Nava, 2 returning guys that are going to be seniors on the offensive line. And then you had a guy like Fidel, and you had some of our receivers out there like Jerome Creasel, a guy who comes to work every day, Bradley Adamson. You know, you just have a great supporting cast that really helps take some of that pressure off those guys to not feel like they have to make a play every time, and just, hey, make sure you're dictating the offense as it goes. Really well. Spring ball was a great opportunity for us with the new staff, with Coach Kerr coming in, really implementing some things that I think made these guys have the ability to just play fast. And you know, our schemes are very simple, but they're effective. And the way we're doing things with, and I think you mentioned it, I mean, it's a pass-happy league, and teams are coming at you, no huddle. We got to make sure that these guys aren't on their heels and they're playing downhill, and we've been able to do that. And I think with guys like JJ, even though he's you know, JJ had a tremendous true freshman year. I mean, he had a pick six, 70 yards. He had another one that was called back by a late hit that was 20 yards behind the play. So, you know, those were both 70-yard plays and game changers. And so he has the ability ability to do that, the uncanny ability, even as a true freshman, now a sophomore, to be a great leader. Then you have Travis Groves in there, and then you add, like you said, Cody Oakrey, Damon Goldhammer. You got those guys who kind of have that ability to lead guys on the linebacking core. We've got a great group of guys up front with Cody Benny, Stubbs, and then Dylan Wiesa is coming back as a true freshman. So, we have a great group of guys, and then I think there's some young guys that can come in and really push the envelope. Matt Singleton was a transfer for us in the spring, had a good spring, really added some depth, and that's the key, is you're going to have guys, and on our defense, we're going to rotate guys in and out with the teams coming at you. Your second team guys have to be just as in tune or ready to go as your first team guys, and I really feel like we were able to get some depth in those areas during spring. Well, and I've seen that for the last couple of years. We've won some games we knew we should have won. We've been in some games, and I could count on my hand, both hands, the number of times that I really felt like we had an opportunity and let it slip away, or the other team made plays. And that comes down to us, focus, concentration, doing the things that we need to do to finish. Not having a stupid penalty at the end of a game, not turning the ball over at the end of the game. Those were things that probably cost us in a lot of those instances, or having an opportunity to get a turnover and we just didn't take advantage of that. And yeah, you feel like, hey, we were in those games, but eventually you gotta win those games. And I know we can. I know that we're starting to get that, like I said, that type of athlete that can compete week in and week out, because you have to be able to. I think the parity in this league in the last 5 to 6 years has really upped. It used to be there's your top couple of teams, and then there was kind of the bottom tier, and then all of a sudden now it's Fort Lewis beat the national champion, and we beat Fort Lewis last year, and so anybody can beat anybody. You have to be ready to play, and we have to, as a team, we have to understand what we need to do to close out games and finish games. And I think once you do that, that momentum just carries from play to play, quarter to quarter, game to game, and you can build off of that momentum. And like I said, we're optimistic, we're excited, but we got to take care of business. You can talk about it all you want, but in the end, as coaches, players, we got to come into camp focused, ready to go. And we have a model this year, or our word is united. And in our united, there's a one is actually the I, and we're going to be united as one. And if we do that, I know that we can do great things. It's 11 guys on the field, but it's what did everybody do to prepare those 11 guys on defense? What did the scout team offense do to get them ready? What did the scout team defense? Assistant coaches, whether you're a GA, whether you're a full-time guy, what are you going to do to make this team the most successful team that we've ever seen at Black Hills? And we're very excited about that.